Have you ever wondered what it feels like to break the chains of gravity and soar high above in the sky like a bird? Picture this: a young boy named Icarus, captivated by the birds in flight. His heart yearned for the freedom they embodied, the exhilaration of gliding through the air, unhindered by earthly ties. His dream was as vast as the azure sky and as wild as the winds that swept across it. His father, Daedalus, an artisan renowned for his skill and ingenuity, understood his son's burning desire. He saw the spark in Icarus's eyes, the same spark that had once ignited his own youthful dreams. Determined to turn his son's dream into reality, he set about crafting a pair of wings. Using feathers and wax, he shaped them with such precision and care that they seemed almost real. And so, with wings attached to his back, Icarus stood at the edge of the cliff, his heart pounding with excitement and fear. Imagine the thrill of your first flight, the wind rushing past your face, the earth shrinking beneath you. This was the world that opened up for Icarus as he spread his wings for the first time. The sensation was intoxicating, exhilarating, a heady mix of fear, excitement, and unbridled joy. He was no longer chained to the earth, he was a creature of the skies, soaring amongst the birds, the sun kissing his face, the cool breeze rustling his feathers. His father, Daedalus, the master craftsman who had fashioned their wings from feathers and wax, flew alongside him, a steady presence in this new, thrilling experience. But with the thrill came a warning. Daedalus, wise and cautious, knew the dangers that lay in their path. He cautioned Icarus not to fly too high where the sun's heat could melt their wings, nor too low where the sea's dampness could weigh them down. He urged his son to follow his path, to fly the middle way, the safe way. But Icarus, young and impulsive, was intoxicated by the thrill of flight. He was drunk on the freedom it offered, the power it bestowed, the exhilaration it invoked. The world was at his feet, or rather, beneath his wings. The warnings of his father seemed insignificant, drowned out by the rush of wind in his ears and the pounding of his heart in his chest. He couldn't resist the temptation, the allure of the sun, its golden glow beckoning him higher and higher. He wanted to touch the sun, to fly amongst the stars, to defy the laws of nature and man. Ignoring his father's advice, he climbed higher, each beat of his wings taking him closer to the sun and further from safety. In his arrogance and exhilaration, Icarus chose to ignore his father's advice, flying higher and higher. He was not just a boy with wings, he was Icarus, the flyer, the adventurer, the dreamer. But every flight, no matter how thrilling, must eventually come to an end. But what happens when we fly too close to the sun? The tale of Icarus takes a tragic turn. As he ascends higher, drawn to the brightness and warmth of the sun, the wax binding his crafted wings begins to soften. Each upward beat of his wings becomes more difficult, each downward stroke less effective. The feathers once firmly attached start to loosen and flutter away, carried off by the wind. Icarus, intoxicated by his flight, doesn't immediately notice. It's only when the rhythm of his flight changes becomes uneven that he realizes something is wrong. Panic hits him like a cold wave. He flaps his wings, but it's futile. Without feathers, his wings are nothing more than bare frames. He begins to plummet, the sea rushing up to meet him. His desperate attempts to fly are in vain. And so, Icarus, once soaring high above, now fell, his dream shattered into the unforgiving sea. So, what can we learn from Icarus's tragic end? The tale of Icarus is not just a story about a boy who flew too close to the sun, it's an age-old lesson about the perils of overconfidence and the danger of ignoring sage advice. Icarus's downfall was brought about by his own hubris, his refusal to heed his father's warning, and his failure to understand his own limitations. In our own lives, we often strive for the sun, reaching for our highest goals and dreams. But just like Icarus, we must also be aware of our own limitations, the fragility of our wax and feather wings. We should listen to those who have more experience, who offer us their wisdom and guidance. Ignoring these warnings like Icarus can lead to our downfall. And so, Icarus's story serves as a timeless reminder. While it's important to dare to dream, it's equally vital to respect the boundaries of our reality. Because in the end, we are all Icarus, flying on wings of wax and feathers.